Hey everybody, it's kayflye and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. Today I'm going to be building a mid-century family home in Oasis Springs with just the Sims 4 base game. This is part of a project I've been doing to rebuild a bunch of the homes in Oasis Springs so they kind of look a little bit better. And I'm using just the base game for most of them so that everybody can download them because everyone deserves to have beautiful houses in their Sims build. So I decided to go with a mid-century home since there are quite a few mid-century houses in the Oasis Springs neighborhood, and I also just think it's a really fun style and it fits well with some of the other modern houses that I've built in this neighborhood. So if you decide to download multiple of these houses from the gallery, then they'll all kind of fit together and it'll look like the neighborhood all matches. So building mid-century homes is super fun. They're really basic layout, and the only challenging thing that I experienced was doing the roof. And it looks deceptively simple because it's just two of the half-gabled roofs put together, but it turns out that they'll only line up perfectly between the two sides if they're like doubles of each other. So for example, the room on the left-hand side is 5 tiles wide and the room on the right side is 10 tiles wide, and I was trying to make it work with other sized rooms, and it only works if the larger room is double the size, like double the length of the smaller room. So that's a pro tip if you're looking to build houses. It took me an embarrassing amount of time to figure that out, and I did not put that in the video because I figured that'd be very boring to watch. But yeah, the mid-century home layout or shell is really simple. It's just two rectangles of different widths, and you can also do different lengths as well. But this house is pretty small. It's also pretty expensive for the size it is. So, oops, it's not quite a starter home, but it is a cute home to play in with a family. It's 2 bedrooms and 1.5 bathrooms. So there's a master bathroom that has a shower bath combo, and then there's a little half bath that you could probably stick a shower in if you really wanted to. And then the kids' room, it just has a single bed, but you could easily put in a bunk bed if you wanted to add an extra kid into the household. But I was super pleased with how this looked out. I feel like it's really cute. I feel like it doesn't look like it's just like, oh, I built something with the Sims 4 base game. I feel like there's a lot of fun details. And I had so much fun doing the interior of this house because I was trying to make it look dated, but kind of in a fun, funky way. So that way it wasn't like, oh, I have all this stinky stuff in the house, but I was imagining that it was kind of an older mid-century house that this family bought, and maybe they're slowly working on renovating it and making it a little bit more modern, but there's still kind of some of the original touches in there. And I don't know, I just thought that was really fun, and I was really imagining the Sims family that lives here as I was building this house. Also, fun fact, if you select base game only and you try to filter for mid-century, there's about 5 items that show up. There's really not a lot of base game mid-century furniture, so I had to kind of improvise a little bit to make that work. And I think it did turn out really nice, and it has a really fun vibe inside without feeling like it's too aggressively one way or another. And I'm definitely planning on doing another mid-century home build soon with just any packs, or maybe just Get Famous and City Living, because those have a lot of mid-century decor. So definitely comment down below if that's something you'd like to see, or if there's any other home styles that you're a big fan of, and I would definitely be open to trying anything. I love myself a good build challenge. Here I was debating over the layout of the master bedroom for quite some time, as well as what bed I wanted to use. I was trying to make it like fun and interesting, and there really weren't any good mid-century-ish beds. I did not end up using this red one that's in frame right now. I ended up using this one I just put in. It's not technically tagged mid-century, but I feel like it had the right vibe for the room. And then this desk and the end tables are some of the few objects that are tagged as mid-century. And then I also put the older computer on the desk because I wanted it to have kind of a vintage vibe, but obviously your Sims still need a TV or computer, or TV and computer in their house. So I tried to keep that in mind. And then This kids' room, guys, this room turned out so good. It's so fun. It's just aggressively space themed. And you'll see as I go in and put more objects in the room, we have kind of like a whole space themed decor and like just it was so fun. I feel like if I was a kid and I had this room and I was really into space, I would love it so much. And it has all of the kid room essentials. There's like a dollhouse and there's a Blarfy, there's a bunch of toys. I think I put in a violin eventually, so there's tons of stuff. And I wanted it to feel like cluttered and lived in, but I didn't want to make it feel like it was too busy. To the point where it was like just too much going on. So tried to strike that balance because I know some people like to have clutter in their homes. Some people really hate when the home is too cluttered and they're trying to play in it. And I just want to have a balance between the two things where it felt lived in, but it didn't feel like it was just a really, really messy house. And I think one of the favorite pieces of the clutter I put down is a space-themed lunchbox is a clutter item in the kitchen. And I just thought that was really cute. I was just thinking of the kid like leaving their lunchbox in the kitchen for their parent to pack up for school. And I thought that was just stinking adorable. I feel like this house has a lot of small details like that that are just really nice for gameplay and storytelling. So if you're into that, then this is a great house for you to download. And like I said, it's all base game. It might have tagged as having CC on the gallery because I did use one of the microscope prints from Debug in it, but it's all things in the game. Yeah, you can see I'm starting to put the clutter together and have a little robot light on the kid's desk. Some of these older looking vanities in the bathroom, just to kind of give it, I want to give the house just like a little bit of character and just make it feel realistic and fun. And I also used those new salt and pepper shakers that came with the holiday update, and I think they're so cute. I love them so much. They're such a good clutter item, and they're also nice and small. So that's really nice. See here, I'm lifting things onto the shelves. It took quite a bit for me to figure out how to do these shelves, so you see me messing around with it for quite some time. Also, this photo just didn't want to rotate, so I was just rotating it around endlessly. I was like, oh no, everyone's gonna see that, but it's important to see the process. But I feel like this helped just make the whole like little work area look more realistic with the shelves and the books and like the little cute photo. And you can pretend that it's a cute photo of like the kid. There's a lunchbox I was talking about. And then I have like paper towels and soap in the kitchen. I just felt like that made it realistic. And I was really trying to make this feel like it was a real house. But as we started doing the tiles with the master bathroom, I kind of made it ugly on purpose because I wanted it to have a dated feel. I used the bright teal walls and the bright teal floor. It's a little bit ugly. You can always renovate it if you really, really don't like it. But I just thought it was fun for storytelling to have that ugly looking bathroom as kind of like the dated vibes. It kind of reminds me of the bathroom at my grandparents' house. Their master bathroom is all bright pink, inclusive of their shower bath, which is really funny, and I don't know, it just fits the whole vibe. And then for the walls on the inside, I used a lot of this pinstripe grain wallpaper because that actually is kind of like a mid-century type of vibe. But then I didn't want to have it just be 100% of the boring streaky wallpaper, so there are some other textures in the house. And then finding mid-century style artwork was definitely a big struggle, so kind of adapted and just tried to have stuff that would fit with the house. I was thinking of using these music posters for a while, but I couldn't quite get them to line up nicely with each other, and I just scrapped it, and I decided to use a different painting just because I felt that it looked better. But I was just trying to break up the browns in this room because there are just a lot of brown colors. And then I started finding all these cute like musician paintings. So I decided that I was like, oh, maybe these Sims like they like music, so I put down guitar in the like the little entry area, or the hallway area rather, and like a violin in the kids' room. And you'll see here I just trying to find a good painting and having a tough time. And then I had the bright idea to look in debug because I was looking for some other things actually, and then I found one of the microscope prints that is really pretty and it absolutely fit the vibe. So figure that would be a nice touch. And I also use those new aprons from the free update, and they are so stinking cute. I love them so much. But I was so happy with how this house turned out. I think the interior turned out a lot cuter than I was anticipating. And it's also a very different style of interior than what I usually build, so it was really fun to do something different and make something that was a little bit ugly in some rooms on purpose. And it was just, honestly, I just had so much fun doing this. I absolutely love how the living room turned out, like the older style couch and the rug and the chair and the plant. I feel like it looks really cute. Found the most hilarious little duck statue in debug, and I put that in the living room, and I think it's so funny. I also found that weird chicken thing, and I felt like these are things that I would expect to see at my grandma's house, and I feel like it just fit the vibe of this house so well, and it gave it a lot of character, even though it was such a small thing. And that's the print I was talking about from the microscope. But yeah, I love putting those little kooky touches. I feel like it gives the house so much more realism. I'm just putting some plants out front. Tried to make like these little DIY planter boxes using platforms, and it kind of worked. It was a little bit glitchy, but I'm overall pretty happy with how it turned out. But yeah, we're just wrapping up the build. We're just doing the back now. Have the nice little porch area. And I put a grill out there. I was trying to put a chess table for a bit, and the porch just wasn't wide enough, and then it looked silly when I made it wider. So I figured if you really want a chess table in your yard, you can just put a chess table in your yard. But I did do a nice little back patio with some lounge chairs, nice little like concrete area, and then there's also a bench outside because the view behind this lot is really pretty. I was thinking if you wanted that for gameplay, then you could have it. And I also added the monkey bars for the kid. And some planter boxes just so your bases were kind of covered. But yeah, now giving you just a little bit of a tour. The beautiful front yard, side yard, backyard, and then we'll just take a quick look at the floor plan from above. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, and I will see you all next time.